So the last component is going to be our manure storage. And with our manure storage, this is going to be a way to manage our waste, making sure we have enough space to collect that manure. Again, in the upper Midwest, where we have a very, very long periods of cold and frozen temperatures, we want at least 180 days of manure storage to get us through the winter. This might not be necessary in more mild climates, but it's good to plan ahead. I'd rather have more storage than running out of storage. And so how much storage we end up needing is going to depend a lot on the horses, how many horses do I have, as well as what type of manure am I collecting? Am I collecting manure in a pasture or paddock setting where I'm just collecting the poop? Or am I in a stall setting where I'm also collecting urine and bedding? That's going to make a huge difference. So collecting the poop, I'm normally at about half a cubic foot per day. But now when I add in the urine and the bedding, I'm at 2.4 cubic feet per day. So that's about 5 times more, depending on the setting that the horse is in. And maybe it's a combination, right? Maybe they're turned out during the day and they're stalled at night. Now we're going to be splitting that difference. Those are a few things to be considering. So I have an example of how I would calculate it for 4 horses. They're out on pasture, so I'm only collecting the poop per day or in a paddock, right? And I want to make sure I have storage for 180 days. This shows that I need 360 cubic feet after I do that math. Typically, depending on the equipment you have, we're going to assume about 3 to 4 feet tall is maybe how high I can stack it, just by, piling it in. If I have a skid steer or a tractor, maybe I can pile it a little bit higher, but we'll just kind of go with that for now. So I divide it by 4 feet to take the height out of it. So that means now I need 90 square feet. This one's a little bit easier because you're like, oh, let's do, just divide it by 9. That means it will be a 9 by 10 foot area stacked 4 feet high. That is going to be the proper dimensions I would need. Say I don't know where to begin. Say I have like this bigger number, like I'm at, 450 square feet. One thing you can do is you can find the square root of that number, and that at least kind of gives you, well, if the area is a square, these will be the dimensions, and you can alter them as needed, and just kind of mess around with that. So it'll be a little bit of trial and error, but that'll help you determine that manure storage area. I maybe got a little excessive with mine. I believe I tripled what my math was, but it's been great because I have been able to compost. We have 3 separate bins now. That's why I tripled it. And we've been able to store the manure where we've been able to compost it and let it cure and not worry about running out of space for that. So that's nice. Again, I've included some notes in terms of what to do with storage, but we've already hit on a lot of that as well. But something I wanted to note is that if you have kind of an ideal setup, you can slope the entrance. So you have a slope going up, and then you have a slight slope going down to prevent water from pooling in the area of the manure. And this is probably more exaggerated than what that slope would look like normally. But this will prevent water from just pooling into the manure, and then any water in this manure pit area will ideally just kind of come out into this vegetative buffer. And again, the root system, the plants will pick up any nutrients that have come out of it. And then based on some information we have, this would be the minimum separation from different parts of the property. So at least 50 to 100 feet away from the property line, 200 to 500 feet from the residence, a private well, water table, things like that. So those are different factors to consider as you determine your manure storage and where you will be locating that on your property.